Two best words in sports. Game 7. And that's what we have tonight with the World Series with the Astros and Dodgers. I believe it's Lance McCullers going for the Astros and Yu Darvish going for the Dodgers. Seth, I know you said Astros in 7, so why don't you kick this discussion off? Who's going to win tonight?
I do like Houston. Lance McCullers, I think, is the perfect matchup for Houston going into Game 7 with that curveball. You know, the sliders have been really tough to throw for really everybody this series, but he's very dependent on that curveball, and if he's got that working for him tonight, I like Houston winning this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the Dodgers. Home field advantage has been crucial throughout these playoffs for everyone, not just in the World Series, and the Dodgers have home field advantage. You mentioned McCullers with that curveball. That's the one pitcher I think that the Dodgers might have the most trouble getting to because of that curveball. You know, I'm going to open up to our callers right now. Again, 253-535-7332. Again, it's 253-535-7332. We had a lot of people call in and talk about how juiced the baseballs were on Monday during our bonus show, which was great. You know, the amount of home runs that have been hit, I think the number's at 24 right now. It'll most likely be more than 25 by the end of this World Series for the most ever hit in a World Series. We're seeing kind of the renaissance. I'm not willing to jump and say that the balls are juiced, simply because, you know, you see it all the time. The philosophy of the hitting has changed. People are hitting the bottom half of the baseball and backspinning it, right? Giving it more carry. I mean, both the home runs hit in last night's game, there were only two, which is really a small number for after what we saw.
Very low for
Game 5, right?
Yes.
George Springer got under the bottom of the baseball, backspun it opposite field. Jock Peterson got underneath the baseball, hit it opposite field. That's really good hitting.
Yes.
I don't think that's a juiced baseball. That's really, really good hitting. DJ, go ahead, spew your thoughts on this.
I tweeted out while I was watching the awesome Game 5 Sunday night. It actually, you know, at this point in the season, I usually watch football, but the World Series was just too good that I had to tune in and watch that game. I tweeted, baseball wants to shorten the games. Fan like long balls and offense, which prolongs games. Don't mess with the game. It's good at this point. You know, I don't care if the balls are juiced. That's what fans like to see. They like to see high scoring. They like to see home runs and long balls. Like, how far can Giancarlo Stanton hit it every night in and night out? That's always the highlight on SportsCenter. So you know what? I'm gonna say that I don't mind it.
It's not even.
I hate it. I hate it.
You hate it?
Okay, so the thing is, he doesn't even care if the balls are juiced. They're hitting them out. Seth, you say you hate it. Why?
It takes away the authenticity of this era. I mean, we just got out of the steroid era 10, 15 years ago, and how is this any different if we're just giving them a new way, an artificial way to hit home runs?
That's a fair point, but I think someone brought it up during the bonus show that, you know, it's so different and that this, that, the other. I mean, it's attracting the general audience towards baseball.
Which is what baseball is lacking right now at this point.
Which is what any sport is lacking. You know, we're going to talk about the Seahawks game later. Those two teams combined to almost put up 1,000 yards of offense in one game. And people loved that Seahawks game. They thought it was awesome.
Best game of the year.
Right?
They said.
So when we see an extra inning game that finishes with a score of 13-12, and people can't stop talking about it positively or negatively, if the ball's juiced, kind of like DJ said, it doesn't matter because it's getting the job done and attracting that general audience.
Part of baseball, you know, is the game being played and, you know, the integrity of it. The other is the business side, and you have to have money in order to keep the business going. And I think the long balls are helping the subscribership, viewership, and bringing all that, you know, up, because it is about that general viewer. And you're going to have your diehards, but if the general viewer can come to the games and watch it and enjoy it, then that's going to help the sport out.
From a business standpoint, it does make sense, but do you guys really think there won't be ramifications as far as the league goes if it's determined that they are juicing the balls and not telling anybody?
Right. If the league is doing it, is the league going to punish itself?
It's going to be punished by the fans. They're going to be upset.
Which part, though?
the diehard fans, the ones who like
Diehards are there. The
traditionalists.
diehards aren't leaving.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Give us your thoughts. 253-535-7332. Again, the number to call is 253-535-7332. It's an interesting conversation. I personally don't think that they're juiced. I mean, there are some questionable home runs in Game 5, like when Yasiel Puig one-armed the ball over the fence in left field in Houston. That's an absurd amount of strength for a person to do that. That's one that can be questioned. The ball that Correa hit that went 170 feet in the air before it found the seats, that's another one that's kind of like, I don't know about that one. But all the rest of them, I mean, people are hitting the ball differently than they used to.
Yeah, like you said, I think a lot of it has to do with the new philosophy and swinging more up, getting the bottom third of the ball, and just launching that. And I also think players are becoming. We hit that steroid era where everybody was juicing and hitting the ball. I do think the training of our athletes is increasing in a way that also contributes to that, along with the philosophy. We're getting more high tech in the ways we train athletes, and ways. I don't want to say, illegal substances, but there are ways that you can push the boundaries and, try and take something that will give you that little extra edge, because, I mean, the edge in professional sports is that much smaller. And I do think, there's always going to be guys that are pushing the limits. There's guys busted every year for PEDs. So I do think our training has come a long way, and might be contributing to that as well.
You can definitely make the argument these are the two best teams. In theory, they have the two best offenses. I get that. It's just it seems disproportionate, the amount of home runs that we're getting in this series.
It does, and I'll agree with you on that point. But at the same time, I can't remember what year it was, but it wasn't that long ago when people were just enthralled with what they had dubbed the year of the pitcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pitchers were dominant. And that's when we started to see velocity creep up and everything start to get bigger, faster, stronger for pitchers. Well, now I think what we're seeing is more of the answer, to things like the shift and that pitchers ramping up in the velocity. Like the shift I mentioned, you can't put a player in the stands.
Mm-mm.
So people have fixed how they swing to be able to
Beat the
produce
shift,
more home
yeah.
runs,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I think going back to you mentioned Lance McCullers, that curveball, people who throw the curveball right now are more valuable than they ever will be, because everyone can hit a fastball no matter how hard you're throwing it.
Yes.
And the harder you're throwing it, the further it's going to go
Mhm.
right now. But if you can break off a gnarly curveball like Lance McCullers can, yeah, you're going to get paid and you're going to be very successful
Because
right
you're,
now.
because you're able to keep hitters so off balance.
Can't
And
do
that-
anything with it.
Yes.
Can't get the bottom half of the balls dropping through the strike zone.
Yep.
So
Even like Edwin Diaz, who throws a heck of a fastball,
He's
then
gonna get touched.
drops it off with a slider, though.
right,
I mean,
he has a slider to match, but still, people touch up Edwin Diaz's 99, 100, 102 mile an hour fastball.
and even like Aroldis Chapman, for that matter, we're seeing more and more people be able to hit off of him because they're able to catch up with his timing now and just hit that fastball.
And it could just be a trend and a shift in how the hitters are trying to hit the ball, hit that bottom third of the ball. The thing that really concerns me is just the pitchers coming out and stating these balls are noticeably different.
Well, I get that they can come out and say that, but that's also a really good out for when they go out and throw a bad game.
Sure, absolutely.
That's a really safe play for them to go, yeah, this is totally different.
Very true.
I'm not giving up bombs, dude. The ball's different. That's not my fault. Like, come on.
Until there's any statistical evidence that the balls are juiced, like, it's only opinion based right now.
You'll see it go back. It'll teeter and totter.
Yeah.
We'll see home runs this year, then you'll see curveballs next. I mean, it'll go back and forth. So
Yeah, like we said, it's just a 1-year sample.
go around the room. Tell us who you got tonight in Game 7 of the World Series.
I'm going the smart pick. I'm going Dodgers. I said
Whoa, he changed his mind.
I said Astros in 6, but the Dodgers have momentum right now, and momentum plays such a big role in sports. You got Darvish on the mound, and he's going to get the job done tonight. Dodgers are going to win.
Dodgers taking it. Seth, what do you got?
I'm sticking with Houston in 7.
Houston in 7. You mentioned Darvish on the mound. Astros AL West team. Darvish was a Texas Ranger for
Yes.
a long, long time, and he got touched up when he pitched earlier in this series.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's going to fix it tonight. Dodgers are going to take the World Series tonight.
He also
in Game
probably
7.
won't go as long because of
Well,
how
you never know.